Welcome to Retro Podcast 7. So, this week's discussion, or we can't say week because we don't do it weekly.
No.
We have to say this time on Retro Podcast.
Well, didn't we do it last week?
Well, like a week and a half ago.
Oh.
Yeah, so, we're exploring the topic of team-based RPGs and how just importance on, like, growing up as a gamer, that sort of stuff. It's come a long way, it really has. For a long time, a team-based RPG was mainly a single player playing with CPU, and then eventually, we had some games pushing the limits with 3-player ones or 2-player ones, trying to mix it up and do something different. It has evolved a long way. RPGs have come a long way. And so we're going to be checking out Secret of Mana 2. This is a reproduction done by Time Warp Games, but there are other companies who do them as well. I found a company that does the Australian PAL release. This is an NTSC cartridge, which can run smoother on it's a different frame. Not so much on Australian TVs, but on American TVs, so who cares really anyway. Things have come a long way though, because we don't use those formats anymore. Most TVs now handle it a lot differently, and there's just a lot more different resolution sort of options available for people. We're not stuck to, for example, this is 480p, but I'm pretty sure that PAL was 576p, which is an odd number, sure, but that's the difference between the two. Anyways, the point being, I love Secret of Mana. It's a great series of games. We've been playing it together with my brother on the RetroRetracked playlist. Why don't you give us your opinion on Secret of Mana?
It's a very interesting RPG. I would say that it's one of the most probably long playthroughs I've ever played that were made in. This was made in the 90s?
Yeah, this was made in 95.
Yeah.
Secret of Mana was 93, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so, I never got to experience that around that time. And, mind you, my Super Nintendo only contained only a few games. And then I got to experience the Nintendo 64 with a few games again. I wasn't very fortunate to get the entire collection of games.
Yeah, the full experience.
So it's good to, in the now, experiencing the games of back then and just enjoying what I truly love, as it is my passion.
So what we're doing, we're retro-retracking. We're retracking the retro games. Now, retracking is not a word in that sense. It's a word that I use myself. Because to retract, like to redraw or whatever, it's ReTract, and it's not actually English smart to use it the way we have been. Whatever, it's our thing. No, A's attack B's, powerful attack. So, yeah.
I am confused already.
It's the same, I'm pretty sure, as Secret of Mana, yeah. So this is a real-time RPG, and that's important to notice, because before this, Square Enix was obviously popular for a lot of turn-based RPGs, all of the Final Fantasy titles, obviously the original being on the NES, and then following up with all the versions that came after that. However, Secret of Mana started off as a Final Fantasy spin-off. It was on the Game Boy, and it was called Final Fantasy Adventure, and essentially that was the precursor to all of Secret of Mana games, all of them. It set them up beautifully, really. They had the spin wheel of attacks while you're out in field. It was real time. It was the start of something new, and plenty of people have that and love that. Now they remade that game for Game Boy Advance, Sword of Mana, which is almost identical to this in fighting style, with your charge up, building up as you fight. Oh, there we go. I'll have to talk to you about those in a moment, but we'll just cover the basics of the game first. So we've got your standard attack, and you can't just press that rapidly. You could in Sword of Mana though, and that's something I didn't actually like because it was lazy as. I mean, sure, eventually you get spells and stuff, but at the start of the game, you're thinking, wow, I'm just pressing A over and over again.
Oh, I pressed Y.
Yeah.
Alright.
So that's how you get into that, yeah.
Okay.
There was a lot of options there to look at as well. RPG in the sense of... Oh, there's our third character. So, RPG in the sense that... Oh, no, she's not on the team. Do we still run into her? Carly. I just looked at it wrong. She's not on the team. What? I didn't pick her. Why do I have to know her story? Did I? Thought I picked Hawk.
I don't think you did. I think you went out.
Oh well. If this is the team, let's see how it goes. She's got healing stuff, so maybe I'll have to make Lisa into full Valkyrie and go all melee and murderous. And Angela's obviously our magician. So it's not right team, but it's a full female team, so...
I think you will have to be Hawk if we get around to doing Secret of Mana 2.
No, I think that's Olin's character. So,
Carly.
No, Hawk.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when we get around to it...
Yeah. Well, it'd be a fresh file. We'd start from scratch.
I know that.
I have played Carly from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting little story. We just saw what happens pretty much. You find out what happens to all of them anyway. Not so much in depth because you don't play it, but this isn't what happens to you. Like when you play it, you don't fall like this.
Okay.
But when you look at it from like running into her, this is what happens. She tells you that this is how it all happens. It's interesting how the story unfolds. It's really inventive for a game for like, you know, for 1995, I think. You know, it's just, it unfolds in a really interesting way, and it gives you that sense of, oh, what will happen if I go back and do this? Oh, she's not on the team. It's just that we still run into her there. That's awesome. I think I've always picked her on the team, which is why I was...
Oh no, I went back. I thought I was you.
I was doing my special attack.
I know.
And you thought it was... You're purple. I'm green. Woo! Victory! Ooh, chest. So the chests are the same as, you know, Secret of Mana, the first one. You pick them up and throw them. Sometimes it's traps. You get candy, all that sort of stuff. You know what? Now I think about it, Square Enix probably did make Golden Sun. I'm seeing a lot of similarities, actually.
Yeah.
But something I really liked about the Golden Sun RPG games... Oh, I'm down. Shoot.
Oh.
No, don't worry. Just keep fighting.
I didn't press that. You did.
Oh, I can heal you when I'm down. Alright, keep pressing A.
I am.
Sure.
Yeah.
Fuck, did I take over?
Yeah, you probably did.
That was weird. Okay. Alright, so when you leave, I know that that's how that works. Yeah, so okay, that's right. This happened to me and Olin when we were playing it. Now press start. And if you get below like 20, I'll heal you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if you do get down, you can leave the area and you know, you're okay. You've got 1 health. You can walk around and get healed and stuff, which is a nice touch because otherwise, if you didn't have a couple wishes on you in the first game, you wound up just... Yeah, I'll show you something. We'll just look at the world. Doesn't take us anywhere, but it gives you a nice little view. Yeah, so, but in Secret of Mana 1, when you have someone down, you've got to use a couple wishes to revive them, otherwise they're a ghost for ages. And you just walk around like that, they can't do anything, they're useless. Which is really how games should treat it, because it's a challenge, you know? But it's a welcome change to a game like this, because there's so many times when you're walking between areas and you're just trying to figure out what's going on. This being said, Secret of Mana, you know, the playthrough we're doing, we plan on finishing that. We really just gotta get into it again and get constant filming going. We just, you know, if you want to watch it with our commentary for the game going, if you want to watch it with us recapping stuff, whatever, go check it out and like leave a comment there saying, you know, bring the next part along already. And
we want more.
Yeah, you do that, we'll definitely make it as long as there's some sort of demand. I mean, we know at the moment we're just making this for the sake of it, really.
Mm.
But we hope that the few people out there who are starting to really like what we're doing, it's good to have a chat with them, really. And you know, whoever's watching now, I hope you enjoy the playthrough in general. Ooh. So let's talk about some other RPGs. So modern day RPGs, they're pretty much online, or some people don't. Like, there are single player RPGs out there, but they're definitely thinning out. There's not that many. Dragon Age Inquisition is a little different now, and that's a big step for that series, but essentially it's still largely, you can play it, have a lot of fun by yourself. Games that stretched the mark and wanted to explore multiplayer RPG, but single seat setting. It's something I love a lot. There's not a lot of them out there. The ones that are, they usually, people have just a fond memory for them. And if you can take something like this and modify it for, an arcade sale shop, for example, the PSN store or the Nintendo eShop, things like that. If they did that and gave some sort of online mode, not a mode, just I'm linking up with this person, let us do the multiplayer together. That'd be fantastic, but I don't see that happening these days. It's unfortunate. It's what I think should be happening with game design, really, but doesn't seem to be. So they're peaceful in Wendell, but something's happening. Oh, they're looking for Carly. They're around looking for her. Temple of Light. B. And it doesn't take away your energy like in the first Seiken Densetsu either. It's
it
just
did?
Yeah.
I don't
No, as in when you let go, it would go from 0 to 100% again, so you didn't want to attack straight away. That's what I mean by energy. And it was an odd run. It wasn't like you could just do it. You'd sort of do it on an angle or something like that. We have brought our plight to this guy in the Temple of Light. Volanti has fallen. Yep. But she's got her own problem. Angela's like, get out of my way. Two women. They're catty. We need Hawk to get on the team already. Yeah, so she's from the Mana Holy Land. A big part of this game is that you're trying to get into the Holy Land at the end of the game to stop something really big from happening with the Mana Beast. Now, the Mana Beast is essentially like Flammy from Secret of Mana, who we have encountered, we've rescued in the playthrough, but we haven't got it as a summon yet, which is pretty cool. It's how you travel. It's like how you fly around with Latios and Latios around the world.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's something that's, done really interesting. It's done interestingly on the Super Nintendo with the Mode 7 chip and all that, but it's quite improved in this game once we get to that point. It'll look pretty good, actually. This is a rich story, this game. Every character has their problem. Obviously, you've seen now they're both trying to get some guidance and some help, but all 6 of the characters have been affected by what's going on. Essentially, someone is stealing necessary magical artifacts and elemental crystals and things like that. Whew. He who holds the Sword of Mana has the power to reshape the world. That's right. Just like, damn it, I did know his lame name. The main...
With an R.
Yeah, it did start with an R. Oh well, I forget.
Rick?
No, it wasn't Rick.
No.
It was weirder than that. Yeah, it actually wasn't good. But I love how it looks here, the Sword of Mana. So...
Roll.
No.
It sounded like an old name.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Anyways, I don't want to spoil anything really, but he's quite important, that character, actually. And I'm pretty sure he becomes maybe the new spirit of the hero of Mana, sort of. So these sealed energy stone sort of thing, they're keeping the seal on the Holy Land closed. There's a lot to this. It's really worth getting into. It's a long game, lots and lots of story, even side story. Not a lot of side, but the whole thing just unfolds the way it does. And then of course you can always play it different ways with different characters. There are certain combinations that some people will say are the best combinations. Some to play the game in a harder way, because essentially you can't just pick 3 melee characters. You won't make it through the game. It will be impossible. You need to have a healer. You need to have some strong magic attacks. The first game forced you to do that. It gave you the 3 characters. It told you what they all do. This one, you got to figure it all out on your own, really. And that's great, because what are RPGs great at these days? Giving you a world, letting you explore it.
Yeah.
It's just, boom, figure it out, get into it, go. Which is always good. That's essentially what a well-made game should be, as long as you're not confused and lost along the way. You've got to have those straightforward elements that make it easier. Well, I think we just leave here, actually, yeah. So that just went to the balcony. No worries. So we talked to him, told him our plight, he told us where to go. But, we are still looking for our 3rd teammate so far. Yeah, so another city that had a mana stone. See, so in the first game, it was seeds. Mana seeds.
Yeah.
So, again, the timeline is in question here. You're wondering, are the seeds derived from the stones? Are the stones derived from the seeds? What is the order of progression in that sense? Why is the world slightly different? Is it the same world? Is it reimagined? Is it destroyed and recreated? All these things are a part of it. Basically, I think they just wanted to take the same idea, expand on it greatly. So we're looking... Oh, hey. She's just gonna travel with us, but not as a teammate. Oh. We'll do it for you. You get no mission heat, Carly. So, you know how the girl was looking for Dialogue? There's like Carly looking for Heath, yeah. Except that she's so much younger than him. It's not like a romance, it's like a younger sister sort of dynamic. So I'm pretty sure there is a mana stone in this cave, or a cave similar to this. But essentially, that is what we're headed to. We are on track at the moment. So the reason why we wanted to play this for the podcast, we spent the day playing Borderlands the pre-sequel, which obviously is a first-person shooter RPG, which is something I've come to actually really enjoy. I mean, I still remember when I first played like the first Borderlands, I wasn't sure what I thought about how, you've got to be strong to get those, those easy kills. Like a headshot won't cut it unless you actually have a strong weapon and stuff. I never got that at first. I didn't appreciate it. But I realized it was essentially, to me, WoW with guns. Because you had your missions, you had your side missions, you had a big open area to explore, and you were given the freedom in that world, which is what an RPG has to do. Has to put you in the roles of that character, has to open up... Oh, what's going on, Fairy? That's what I would define an RPG as. It puts you into this entire thing that's been created and set up, and basically just says, guide this character, make them awesome, do what's required to make their mission a success. So yes, Legend of Zelda is an RPG, but it's definitely an action RPG. This is...
You mean adventure?
Adventure? venture action
Mm.
because it's all free combat. You know, it's you can at any moment pull out another weapon and stun them if you want. You know, you can do all sorts of stuff. Are you able to press anything? I don't know. Oh, there it was. Whee! So there's a wisp in this waterfall, something we're looking for? Yeah.
You're just talking about Borderlands.
Yep. Okay, so the pre-sequel, it's really great. What with Australia Day being in a couple days, it's fantastic to be playing that right now because it is entirely what you would classify as Australia in space. Let's put it simply that way. Oh, I can't even do luck. That's odd. Maybe I have to start getting them all up. Oh, and then you've got one. So she's a magician, and right now she's already got high intelligence, spirit, and luck. I would just put agility up one. So the way the stats work is that if you focus more in one area, then you can at level 10 and then level 20, level 30, you can change what your class is. You can actually upgrade. Which, looking at RPGs today, again, still talking about Borderlands here as well, as soon as you pick your first skill, your class name changes. It becomes something, you know, different. And again, this game was my first interaction with that. So at first, it says she's an Amazoness, but she can become a Valkyrie or a Rune Maiden, and then she become these other things as well. And it's all outlined in the manual, which is nice as well. Essentially, it's just the top 3 stats to go one way. It's like a tree diagram, how it works. So the top 3 stats go one way, and then after that, top 3 or bottom 3 from there as well. And I think you can't actually do the upgrade unless you visited 2 mana stones. I don't. There might not be levels. I think you have to get the. It's like with the seeds, so we could do the different sword attacks. Well, sorry, no, that was forging the weapons. It's like with the seeds, so you can level up your mana, like in the first game. First-person shooter RPGs. I mean, essentially that's what Destiny is. A lot of people are annoyed in the sense that they thought it was going to be a complete MMO, but no, it's like a half MMO. It's you kind of got to organize it yourself to make it feel like that, which is okay because that's almost like sharing the same couch, but you're not. You know, you're sharing just the party. Ooh, you got your 1 health back after being downed because they died. Like it happened just then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So hang on, I know we only have 1 left after this, so just being a little bit careful anyway. It's... Oh. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Storage, eh? I did not know. Don't give it back. How do I get it back? There we go. I'm just trying to get out at the moment.
Isn't it why?
Ooh, that was interesting. Okay, so we have item storage. Alright then. But didn't we just heal me?
I'm.
Why does she no, go down, if you can. Something odd just happened there. Hang on. I don't know why. I'll just try and change character now. Oh, so it just swaps their position. So press start. Okay, cool. Must have got down from something. I don't know.
Oh.
This game did try to really make a big step forward in many sort of aspects in terms of.
Sorry, I went back.
It just died too.
Oh.
So they're back. Oh, 1 died anyway. Yeah, that's right. So the enemies in this game, they'll reappear, but only once you Oh, that bloody axe throw. That's what it is. Oh, it swapped again. That's why. So every time. She's not a good melee class. That's the issue. Lise is, but not Angela. If I can... Oh, right. No, So if I'm by myself, it goes into the start menu. But then if you press start now. Yeah, so we just gotta be careful every time we die, or else we get, confused and maybe lose again straight away. So the way the enemies work in this game, because you need to learn how to grind as well. Sometimes you think you might have missed a bunch of kills, and you may have to go back to be able to do things easier, get some more of those stat points that we've been doing. The way the enemies respawn is once you've gone through 2 areas, they'll reappear. They don't just reappear if you go straight back, which isn't like that much of a difficult twist up, but it's definitely different to the previous game and many other, fantasy RPG games before it. Oh man, I'm poisoned and just get my ass through. Whee! Oh, that axe throw just murders. Go left.
Yeah,
it's me again. Sorry. Wow, that axe throw. It's their charge up ability, so it just means you gotta kill them really quickly. Sorry again. Yeah, I gotta press select, not start. All good. Getting the hang of it again. Haven't played this game in ages. Getting into it. Alright, good. So, what are some RPGs you've played? Obviously, Kingdom Hearts has many RPG elements in it. It's quite an action-filled game. Yet that bloody attack is annoying the hell out of me. But yeah, obviously you've played Seiken Densetsu with me, and you played like many Final Fantasy titles before?
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7, all the 7s. So I'm talking about
Crisis Core.
7, Crisis Core, and Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh yeah?
I was about to say Event Children, but that's a movie.
Yep.
But so technically I have...
Press B when you're looking at the next. You've got a charger.
I'm not... Yeah. There you go.
Nice. I love that. Thank God. Yep.
You got 1 health.
Continue.
What else? A majority of Square Enix RPGs, I would say that. And then there's RPGs that you wouldn't really classify as RPG.
Well, I mean, in the classical sense, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
but I mean, you don't want to have a million game genres, really. You just got to have. I mean, you don't even want to be classifying games by genres. You want to be just making new and interesting games. Alright, I knew I was going to die there. So I'll just finish him up and then I'll come back and heal her. Yeah. But you're good to press start now. Once it, yeah. Oh. I haven't ever seen... I mean, okay, so I just want to say this about Borderlands the pre-sequel. We were thinking about playing that on the podcast,
Yeah.
but we just thought we'd come into a retro RPG and just try our luck at that at the moment. You know, we're definitely... oh, that move is just not nice. I'm sick of it. I can't dodge it or anything. Maybe I need to have my luck increased. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
It's just their charge up.
Mm.
There's problems. Oh, I hope this is not a boss first. It might be, which means we'll probably lose. But, yep. Oh, dang. We're not going to get anywhere, but we'll try. So you charge up with B.
Is that it?
Yeah. Oh, get away, get away, get away. I got poisoned and died. Oh, okay, that's me again, remember. So I'll just... Oh no! Ah! Yeah, so we should already be grinding, it seems. Like, we haven't got enough items or stats or anything yet to be able to take on this guy. Because that'll be the end of it there. Boom! That's our first death. Ah! But that always happened to me the first time playing the first Seiken Densetsu as well. Like, if you would get to the first boss and you're only like level 3, you could beat it, but you could also die. Like, it was possible. And in the classic style of all old games, look what happens. You go back to the start menu, you gotta go back to where you saved.
Yep.
It was the only way to track it, really.
But there's even games earlier than that didn't really have a save. You go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah. So I think what we're just gonna do, we're just gonna let you have a little bit of the intro here for now, because we cut into the game when we were playing a little bit in. We just wanted to get to the point where we were both going. Once we beat this boss, we get the first Mana Stone, and then we'll meet Hawk. We meet him on the way to the next place, and he's the thief character. He's actually pretty. He can dodge attacks, I'm pretty sure, like certain ones. Like he's got a higher skill rating and that sort of stuff. These days, RPGs, they are heavily influenced by the past, I would say. They take things that have been done, they either pay homage to it, or they reimagine it, or they just flat out borrow things. We're all going to look at RPGs starting off from the beginning of Final Fantasy at the start, and then them getting more creative and getting more... they would change the combat style. Chrono Trigger is one of those hybrid sort of cross between real-time and turn-based. Final Fantasy has always been turn-based, but they've come a long way now. It's really different. I mean, Final Fantasy 15's looking fantastic. The fighting style looks a lot more like Xenoblade Chronicles, and that is another really interesting fighting style for an RPG in general. It's essentially, how do we keep this fresh? How do we keep this as a genre that can exist forever? Well, first of all, yeah, don't make it a genre. Make it, we're going to take these elements, and give you a full bloody game. One example like that, the Crystal Bearers on Wii, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Crystal Bearers. It is in no sense a classic RPG. No way at all, because the combat system is essentially you use your powers to affect what's around you, and then you just try and survive and continue. But it is, a lot of people would not call it a Final Fantasy game. It's essentially a spin-off of a spin-off. Because Crystal Chronicles is a spin-off, and I love that on GameCube, especially 4-player when you play that. Yeah, 4-player RPG. That's a really fun one. Yeah. Something we got to check out for sure. We're definitely going to be doing a video on that. I mean, we did 4 Sword Adventures with the 4 players.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but eventually it was like a playthrough episode. It wasn't really just like an episode. So I'd love to talk more about it, you know, do a little bit better. The thing about Crystal Chronicles, though, is that it was just meant to be the Nintendo Final Fantasy, because they weren't going to get the other Final Fantasy games. It's just, that's what the deals were doing. Someone wanted there to be that aspect, that element, you know? But yeah, so the one on Wii, because you're using your Wiimote, they put in all sorts of different game modes, really. I mean, that's kind of what the game becomes. You can explore, you can talk, you can do this and that, but there are those moments where you're just going to be pointing at the screen and shooting stuff, or you're going to be pointing at the screen to pick up stuff and throw it, and it's really interesting. So looking at this as a precursor to a lot of that, Secret of Mana as a real-time RPG game is brilliant. And this is the perfect follow-up to it. It's fantastic as far as sequel or spiritual successor. That's really what it is. It's brilliant in that sense. So it's definitely a hard game as well.
Yeah.
RPGs have got to be challenging. You've got to get that grind on.
Yeah.
Oh, so those are the characters. So we got Duran up the top left there. He's a warrior. At the top right, you've got Hawk, who's a thief. Now there is some questioning on the names here. Now, these names that I'm seeing here, like on the actual character select and all that, they're different to what we have in this little manual, but they're what I remember getting from from playing the ROM when I was young. In fact, actually, no, the only name that doesn't add up, I'm not sure if the middle one's Kevin or not. He might, yeah, who was that Beastman guy? Is Lise or Reese, who's the Amazon princess of the Wind Kingdom. I'm not sure why her name's different here. It's some sort of translation issue or something. Not 100%. But the fact that this game didn't get an international release with an English translation has always confused me. I've never liked that fact. It's how did this game not sell enough to do what it needed to do? This is see how it says there, not supported by Squaresoft?
Yeah.
It's officially on the cartridge, they had nothing to do with this version of the game anyway. But Seiken Densetsu 3, which is, the Japanese name of the game, because they count the Game Boy one, then the SNES, then this one, in that order. And after that, then they had the Game Boy Advance games, DS games, PlayStation 2 games. It's a series that has continued, and there has been at least one on a platform of each generation. But where's it going now? There's all sorts of talk about maybe a remake or a new game. They released the first game on the Apple Store, which is actually really fun. Square Enix has a good presence on the Apple Store because they've got Final Fantasy 4 on there as well, and there's some tactics games, and then there's like rhythm games, and there's like, I'm pretty sure they've got like 50 titles on there. Some of them are really random, obviously, but there are full games, and they look great, they play great, and it's on your hand. If it's on your phone, you can play it pretty much whenever you want to play it.
If it doesn't use that much usage.
Yeah. Well, it's I think the game itself, like Secret of Mana, I think it maybe is about, like, storage-wise, it's not that large of a game. Battery consumption is kind of, you can play for maybe an hour before you want to put it on a charge to be safe. But hell, let's look at the 3DS. How long does that go before you need to charge it? 3 hours?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's not even that big. So even handhelds compared to the smartphone devices, there is some pretty direct competition there. And Square Enix, they've chosen to be on both markets. Whereas Nintendo, they don't want to be on the mobile market. It's not something that appeals to them. They don't want to be selling Super Mario Bros. On the iPhone. They don't want to be doing that.
Well, see, I wouldn't want any console games on phones in the first place, mainly because, one, a mobile phone is for contacts and contacting people, not to play games.
These days it's for everything.
I know it's for everything, but that's not what I feel like, using one thing for one thing alone and nothing else.
So I hope we ranted enough there, guys. We tried to get some talking out, and we were playing before this recording just to get up to where we were up to. Sure, we said some things then, and we probably missed them here, but welcome back.
We'll probably combine it.
I can't. It's direct upload. So this will be stuck on YouTube, this video.
We'll upload them both. I don't know.
Maybe a segment. Yeah, maybe I can do it in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Find another spot or whatever. But so Retro Podcast, we might take a little bit of time off before we do the next one. Line up exactly what we want to do.
Yeah.
I know for sure that we want to muck around with a few multiplayer scenario RPGs. We want to be sitting in the same room with other people playing a story like this together. So we will be getting back to recording Secret of Mana. We probably actually have to record a bit in advance so that we can spend like a long time releasing it and just have the footage prepared. So we'll probably, we'll set that up. That's something we'll be doing over the next month maybe. Other than that, keeping the RetroRetracked episodes going. There's been released one, every now and like pretty often actually, like either weekly or sometimes fortnightly. Other than that, we'll keep the play videos going, a versus video every now and then. Make sure to watch versus Street Fighter.
Yeah.
She kicks my ass at it. I think it's just because when we did on Dreamcast, we had the Turbo 2 setting, so it was way faster.
Maybe.
Yeah, whereas Street Fighter 2, that wasn't even the turbo edition of the game. That was just Super Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
So guys, that's the Retro Podcast for the night. That's it from us.
Yeah, be sure to tune in to the next podcast, wherever that may be.
Yeah, we'll keep you notified. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube,
Instagram,
Google+, all that stuff. It all pops up. We make sure of that. You can find us wherever you need to.
Until then, see you next time.
Alright, bye.